and maybe more especially from Mumbai, from Amravati, and from related colleges. But since it's an open kind of participation for anybody who is from any part of the country to participate in this kind of a program, and that way it makes all it a diversified one. And you have got also not only diversification with regard to we belong to various states and various union territories, but besides that we belong to different streams because it's a national education policy, NEP orientation and sensitization program. So some of you might be commerce, management, physics, history, biology, botany. I know that all different and varied sections, varied streams indeed. And apart from that, what makes this more interesting is that you have I mean, since you belong to different streams, naturally, some of you might not be that much the fields like management, the leadership, and you know that the University Grants Commission is so seriously now interesting and so seriously we can say, funding and sponsoring the leadership related programs. And it would not be surprising to let you know that very recently we received guidelines again from the University Grants Commission. We receive it every time after every year. A schedule of the programs is already given that these are the programs within which you have to you have to comply with, and you have to just conduct various programs. That includes, for example, academic leadership as well. But this time there is such a serious concern and serious, we can say, emphasis on the leadership that there are 4 programs that a center has been, I can say, in a way, allowed to and authorized to conduct programs on leadership. 4, capacity building, academic leadership. The idea basically is that the leaders, as rightly put by Professor Atiq Saab, that leaders have a very important, essential role in the overall functioning, effectiveness, and efficiency of any organization, and let alone the academic institutions. We know it, academic institutions, we have got the faculty, we have got the teachers. Teachers are the makers of future. They are the builders of the nation as well. So in that regard, when we talk about these nation builders, every effort has to go into making them as viable, as knowledgeable, as relevant as possible. There shall not be any obsolescence when it comes to the faculty, especially because they are the ones who are actually involved in and concerned with the building of nation. We normally call them as nation builders. And therefore, the University Grants Commission, seizing the opportunity that they have come up with, a strong emphasis on leadership. And again, it won't be surprising for all of us to know that even the leadership programs, the University Grants Commission has roped in some of the reputed management institutions wherein the sitting vice chancellors are being trained or being imparted training related to the leadership issues. So that signifies that how relevant and so important leadership is, and how much we ought to be aware of leadership nitty-gritties. In most of the cases, what we find is that there are some given parameters that are taken into consideration while elevating somebody as an academic leader, be head of the department, the dean of a school, a dean academics, dean research, for that matter, principals of the vice chancellors. So there are some set pattern, I can say, parameters or conditions on the basis of which a person is elevated as the academic leader. But hardly there is any kind of focus on whether the person has been exposed to the academic leadership kinds of issues. Is he well versed with leading the institutions, or he has simply got the academic credentials? Here, a person might have very good citations, good papers in very reputed journals, but then when it comes to assigning him with the responsibility of a leader, an academic leader, as a principal or a dean or a head or a vice chancellor, will he be able to do justice with the position that is being given to him? And I'm sure that this is one of such programs that will be joining in your journey of academia. But I'm sure that this will also throw open that how important it is for us to know some of the important issues that are related to our leadership, so that we are effective and efficient leaders. We are able to run the affairs of our academic institutions in most professional and proper way. So we shall be dealing with regard, discussing issues related to that part of it. And otherwise, you know that we should not end up becoming simply what we call as excellent leaders, not academic leaders. There's a huge difference between becoming a leader without having any know-how and exposure to leadership than to having it. So you are an academic leader with all the necessary skills that you have been able to gain over a period of time through these kinds of training programs and exposures. That's very important, very essential. That's the reason that there's a lot of focus on the leadership, and particularly in the academic circles or in the academia. Now, having talked about it, we will have some important things to discuss, and I shall be just, uh, sharing these slides with you for a proper understanding of the things. And here we go. And I hope that the presentations are visible to you. Hope they are visible to you, please. Or the slide is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Only one response. So if it is, visible to one, it means that it's visible to all of you. So we talk about academic leadership, and especially we are relating you to the National Education Policy 2020, NEP 2020. Though it doesn't mean that NEP, this leadership is just confined to, or it is that recent, a kind of a phenomena that it was not in existence earlier on. But of course, NEP 2020 has got some different kinds of challenges, various opportunities also. So naturally, in order to properly benefit from their opportunities and to meet the challenges, having a sound academic leadership background and having a proper understanding of dealing with the affairs of the organizations, the academic institutions, becomes all the more necessary. So in fact, one can simply say that with the implementation of NEP 2020, things have become a little different. They have become a little different, and everybody cannot expect to be, a good leader unless and until he has got a proper understanding. And everybody among us will not be in a better position to actually execute and implement NEP 2020 if you are not well versed with the qualities of a sound and an effective leader. So that makes it a little more relevant than discussing academic leadership under NEP 2020. Now, when it comes to leadership, we normally would say that leadership has to do with the why we say that why academic leadership is becoming important. How is NEP something which is making it that very important in our academic institutions? There are several important reasons for it. For example, higher education in India is at a turning point. NEP 20 is replacing the 34-year-old 1986 policy, making a historic transformation in India's educational landscape. And then also, you know that there are some important aims that NEP 2020 wants to attain. One is making education very inclusive. Also, it's not that you should be in silos, living in one silo. Like, say, for example, if you are from natural sciences, you are just confined to it. You don't know anything about management. You don't know anything about political science, history, geography, and other disciplines, say, for instance. So instead of you become, confined to a given silo, you come out of it. You have a taste of various different kinds of subjects and courses and programs that help you up. Maybe you took a decision earlier on while you chose, for example, a particular stream because it was not that informed kind of a decision on your part, and you had that thing only in mind that this is the subject of my liking. But then when you were given chance to look around other subjects as well, look around other courses as well, look at how much interesting they could become for you. And that's how basically it is becoming more inclusive, and it is making, one can say, widens the scope and canvas of learning for any, I can say, prospective candidate, for a prospective student. So if you are in management, again, you have again a different subject in your, for taking like history, and maybe you develop an interest in that. So this is how it should actually go, and that will surely pave the way for a person to making it more attractive and more interesting for himself and herself. Then flexible, also skill-based. Again, a more emphasis is on skills. You know that otherwise you have got huge chunk of people whom you can say simply educated, unemployed, educated guys. So what is the fun of having a factory which is producing, the students, but the educated ones, but they're not relevant to the society. They're not relevant in the sense that they are not able to earn their own livelihood. They don't have the required skills that are required by industry, that are required in the market. So naturally, having a look at that, this policy makes it all the more, I can say, relevant and important that a student should have a skill based and you should be able to learn things and should have that exposure to the skills as well. Then future ready while establishing India as a global knowledge superpower, looking at the requirements, looking at the needs of the people around in the world and the industries, the companies around the world. We are able to keep them, I can say, relevant, and we are able to produce that what is required in the not in the national but at the international level as well. Then again, if we talk about NEP 2020, we know that autonomy of institutions, multidisciplinary programs, new governance models, emphasis on research innovation, they are something which are very much in NEP 2020. But then we know it for sure that all we cannot have only a we cannot only have a policy, because policy is simply going to is not going to actually bring any change. Changes are possible once we execute the things. Therefore, there is a need, and every academic leader is bound to have that proper understanding and exposure as to how to actually take benefit of autonomy, how to take benefit of multidisciplinary programs, how to take benefit of this new governance model and all this. So benefit and execution of it is all the more necessary. Now, when it comes to NEP 2020, how does it actually envision an academic leader? Who is an academic leader? Who could be a prosperous, future-oriented research, a leader? What does basically NEP 2020 tell us about this academic leadership? Effective academic leadership under NEP 2020 requires not just implementing policy change, but it does also actually try to transform how we envision, deliver, and measure education in the service of India's future generations. So we do not come up with only traditional kinds of degrees. Think beyond that. Suppose in our own university, we have got design your degree, DYD. That was initiated actually by Delhi University long ago. But now this is the kind of the step that's been taken by the universities, that they are not just giving the courses that you have in your kitty, but at times you give a chance, you give a kind of a choice, a freedom to the learners that how you can design your own degree. So plenty of courses are there, and a student is to join that DYD, and then why he finds that he has got a good interest in. First, he gets an exposure to all different kinds of streams, be it mathematical sciences, be it mathematics, be it management, be it personality, be it history, many other, so that he has a proper exposure of these things, and then the ones that he feels is of his liking, he then chooses that. So this is how things are shaping up now. We cannot remain confined to over those traditional ways of thinking about the programs and courses. We have to come out of that, because NEP 2020 has thrown the opportunities, and we have to try our level best to grab. And everybody cannot do it. We have to have a proper understanding of being really effective academic leaders. This transformative journey demands visionary leaders. Why I'm saying to bridge traditional academic excellence with innovative 21st century approaches. You know that students either, I can talk about my own place, there are a number of students moving out. Then you have got students from outside going out again to foreign countries. Why there is a trend for that? Why the number of students, mostly in the college and universities, comes down, especially in the universities. Enrollment has come down, provided probably we're not providing them the kind of a course that they are interested in. It's not that relevant. We are still carrying on with the traditional kinds of courses. All academic leaders who have been given freedom to choose the courses of their own, programs of their own, this is an incumbent responsibility onto their shoulders, that they come up with programs which are of relevance. The success of NEP 2020, therefore, rests on the shoulders of these empowered academic leaders who can inspire change. They will not think traditionally. They will not remain confined to the traditional kinds of courses. They will be more transformative and build capacities and sustain excellence across all levels of our educational system. That's important. That's expected of the academic leaders. Then you know about academic leaders. You have got the vice chancellors, the principals, the heads of the departments, the deans, the registrars. These are all academic leaders. It is not about authority again. It's about restoring balance and fairness. You know that in most of the institutions, we always talk about there's a politics going on. There is unfairness. There is discrimination. The leader's job is to come out of this and do away with this, because when there is no fairness in the system, when there is no fairness in the institutions, academic institutions, is going to create huge havoc and huge problems for all alike, be it the faculty, be it the students, be it the scholars, be it the non-teaching staff. Everybody would be caught in that. So the appropriate ways is that we restore balance and we also restore fairness. Discrimination is done away with. That's what leadership is all about, looking at that particular aspect. And an important thing that you should bear in mind is that when it comes to again leadership, we have to keep in mind that if we just go by management, then it is simply, if you find a person has come, he just sits in his cozy room with an AC on, he doesn't look around what's happening around. He doesn't have any urgency of time. He doesn't have any urgency of making courses relevant. He doesn't have any urgency of, putting the employees to task if they don't do it of their own. Then means that he is simply a manager. He is just managing the affairs of the things of the organization. Like, for example, scheduling the classes. If this is the kind of a work that a leader has to do, then he is not a leader. He is a simple manager. Simply scheduling the classes, running the exams, maintaining records will not make much of a difference, though they are important per se. But then he is not doing a leadership role. He is not doing it. He is not doing, that what is otherwise expected of him as a leader, especially under NEP 2020. Leader's job actually is inspiring others, navigating change, creating uncertainty. We say that his more important job is creating uncertainty. Manager's job is reducing uncertainty, but leader's job is creating uncertainty, doing something which is, out of box, which is not the traditional one. So this is something that a leader has to keep on. So that's why we say that leadership process creates an uncertainty and change in organization. He's always trying to align people with their direction through communication, etc. Now, the point basically is that who actually is a leader? We say that guiding and directing the behavior of people in the work environment. His job is that, guiding and directing the behavior of people in the work environment. So it is something which is a process. It's not possible to take place in a jiffy, in a day or two. Overnight, it is not possible. It will take its own time. Over a period of time, you have to go on directing and guiding the behavior of the people in the work environment. That is what leadership is all about. And then you have formal leaders, you've got informal leaders. Again, someone, for example, you go to the head of the department. He is a formal leader. Deans, dean academics, dean research, vice chancellors, principals, all have got some formal authority with them. Then we have informal. They don't possess any authority as such. But then because of their charisma, because of their expertise, because of their knowledge, because of their access to information, all makes them as strong leaders, but they are informal leaders. And they are being always, we can see, glued around. Everybody is just talking about them because of their expertise, because of their knowledge, because of their access to information, and because of their sharing kind of a, culture and understanding. So that's what makes them as very strong and very relevant kinds of leaders. Then again, we talk about leaders' directions. We talk about leadership as it's a direction. Direction as direction as an influence on culture. Direction as transactional and transformational. Direction as a call for shared governance. For example, we talk about direction as an influence on culture. A very important thing is that leader's role is to create culture. Leader's role is, if he is transformative, he is very innovative, he is very fair, he is non-discriminatory, he will always try to create that kind of a system and that kind of a culture in his organization. And if he is discri- discriminatory, unfair, traditional, lacking innovation, doesn't have a vision, then of course he will run the affairs likewise. So such kinds of deeds and activities of the leaders will in no way lead to the success of that particular, we can see, institution. So we require the institutional heads who are all innovative and who are all visionary and who have a very strong influence on the culture. And influence means over a period of time. It's again not something that can happen in a jiffy. Overnight, it is impossible. It has to be done over a period of time. Every leader has to be tolerant in that regard. If he sees that the person is not getting changed, I'm not able to affect any kind of a change in the behavior of a person concerned and gets rejected with that, is not something that he has to keep in mind. He has to be very tolerant. Over a period of time, such a change is possible to take place, and therefore he has to move on. He has to be tolerant, and that's what you have to be like. If you are heading a department, you are a dean of any, we can say, school, and you are likely to take over such kinds of roles in the times to come. Always bear this in mind. This is exactly the way we conduct ourselves back in our own families, with our own children. Is that possible that a change can take place overnight? That's not possible. It takes a constant inspiration, a constant influence that you have to have on them, constant minds changing. I mean, kind of stories and things of that sort, so that they get influenced and they change for the good. And that's why we say that in academia, a leader's direction is often not a rigid command, but an articulation of a strategic vision. Look at it, not a rigid command. It's always a stubborn approach on the part of a leader. That's surely not going to benefit. We say that a legal authority of a leader is not going to actually work for all times to come. Leaders have to keep in mind that they have to drive with the stubbornness. They have to be kind as well, but it doesn't mean that have to be always kind if the things are not moving properly. That part we may discuss in the course of our discussion, the kind of a role a leader has to play in order to be a very successful kind of a leader. All that we have to keep in mind is that a leader can never be a rigid. It should not always have that rigid kind of a command. Look and seek the inputs from others. That will help him to grow into a very effective kind of a leader. A dean or a departmental head, for example, may direct the faculty to innovate the curriculum to align with the institutional goals rather than asking him how to teach. How to teach is something that they have learned. More important is that innovate the curriculum. Up to the faculty how to figure out the best way to implement it within their own areas of expertise. So they have their own expertise. They know what they are expected to do. They have been given a kind of a direction only. Now, everybody has to, I can say, keep in mind his own domain, his own expertise, area of expertise, and accordingly make the necessary changes. Suppose if we talk about innovating the curriculum, this curriculum has to be innovated given the kind of knowledge and information you have as a departmental head. But direction has to come from the leader, academic leader, head of the department. I know a department, a person was third time as head of the department, third time, that already he had put in 3 years long ago, then again in the middle 3 years, then again until very recently he completed his third term again as head of the department. He had to restructure the course at PG level as well as the UG level. He could not do it. He could not provide any kind of direction either. The thing is that you may hold a position, you may occupy a chair, but without any concern to making or bringing any kind of a change, providing any kind of a direction. We have seen such people around, and especially they get more, I can say, swivel-headed, or they are grow in numbers only because there is no accountability also. So lack of accountability also helps them out, encourages in a way them to not to touch anything which is otherwise relevant and fruitful for the department is concerned. So as a result of that, they're not ready to provide any strategic vision to the organization, to the departments that they belong to. Likewise, as I talked about the leadership, very essential and very important. Like, for example, a leader, if he is more confined and concerned with the PR, public relations, means that he's kind of creating a culture of PR, public relations. Everybody would be following that because people are very smart. People know sells, what sells, and if PR sells, if public relations sells, they will be more to it, and they would love to have all sorts of public relations created only because they know that this is what basically benefits and this is what sells in the sight of a leader concerned. Now, if, for example, a leader is more concerned with tasks, more interested in tasks, more interested in, for example, projects. We have had one of the vice chancellors some time ago. Now he is not here. He left almost 3 years back, 3 to 4 years back. He was always after the projects, and a lot of faculty members did apply for projects from various funding agencies and got very, heavy projects worth crores of rupees. So he created that culture, and then in interviews also, while visiting the department, therein also he would always talk about the projects. So the point basically is that it largely depends upon the kind of a person you are as a leader. What is your vision? What is your, interest in? And through that, you could be inspiring for us.
आणि तुमच्या मित्रांना माहिती म्हणताले पण तर एवढं कोणीच पेकत नाही.
Kindly switch off the mic, please. You mute yourself, please.
Yes, sir. Please continue, sir. Please continue.
So now let's have a look on this very important aspect of leadership. We have two models in particular. We have a number of models that we'll be discussing in case we get the time, but especially two important perspectives on leadership. One perspective is the trait perspective, the other one is the behavioral perspective. That trait perspective basically confines itself to that a leader's effectiveness and efficiency largely depends upon the kinds of traits they have. All those particular leaders who have got some peculiar and innate qualities, they only can turn out to be the effective leaders. So therefore, this is a kind of a perspective which leaves hardly any scope for leadership programs. The idea is, and the perspective is, that in case we have to have such kinds of leaders, we have to then select them accordingly. We have to make a very rigorous kind of a selection, looking at whether these particular prospective leaders have those particular qualities which make them effective and efficient. And so all those particular persons or all those particular applicants or all those future leaders who don't have such kinds of traits, they can never be taken as leaders. They can never, because our belief is that they can't be successful leaders. For a leader to be successful, they have to have some innate qualities and some innate characteristics. This is one perspective. Unlike this perspective, behavioral perspective basically emphasizes on the behaviors of successful leaders. How do actually success and effective leaders behave? What is in their behavior? So that their behavior is visible, that behavior can be accordingly taught. You can have leadership development programs in which you can teach such kinds of behaviors to your prospective leaders. Unlike that, a trait perspective which just focuses on the innate qualities, how do you get those qualities in your future leaders? While it is possible that you can just impart or you can organize training programs, since you have already checked it, you have already seen it, that these are the important behaviors, these are the high-performing behaviors of the leaders. So you would accordingly like to emulate them and train the future leaders with those particular, I can say, behaviors. Those we call as a behavioral perspective. Then we got contingency, transformational, distributed, and all that. Now, when it comes to the traits, the leadership traits, I have a very small kind of an exercise for you. A very small exercise. I hope you would be able to do it. It's not that time consuming also. The only thing that you have to do is that you have to encircle these 3 dimensions of all these 8 dimensions which describe you, which describe the kind of traits that you have. You could be visionary, ethical, innovative, collaborative, authoritative, bureaucratic, empathetic, political. And then after you are done with that, you have to encircle 2 more in which you want to develop yourself. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is my point is that there are some 8 we can say trips.
I request the
Good afternoon.
participants to mute their mic.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Yes,
Yes, sir.
you can do this exercise of your own. What you have to do, you have to encircle the 3 traits that you have right now that describe you, and you have to also encircle afterwards 2 that you want to grow into. Please do this small exercise and come back after 4 or 5 minutes at the most.
Innovative one. Innovative one is mine.
What you have to do is that you just keep it within for the time being. Then afterwards I'll
Okay.
ask you what have you encircled, please. Huh?
Okay.
Yes, please. Yes, are you done with it, please? Yes, anybody can just start with.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Sir, according to your questions, I have innovative. I go with the innovative. I can bring some innovative changes in the classroom. That is my own understanding purpose. And in case of I have to grow up for authoritative and collaborative 2 points, I will add. Authoritative part, I have to think for more responsibility I need to handle for making my authoritative leadership can grow more. And for the collaborative part, I need to do with more teamwork so that I can get more grow up with the collaborative activities. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, please. I was little busy here with something. I was not able to get you properly, believe me. Sorry for
Okay.
that.
Sir,
You can please.
sir, I'm telling that the first I go with the innovative. That innovative idea needs to be grow. In my cases, it can go in the classroom, so I can bring some changes in the classroom in the innovative ideas. And if you see me, tell me to grow up 2 ideas, 2 points, which is lacuna in my sense, that is authoritative. In case of authoritative, that I need to take more responsibility to be more authoritative. In case of a collaborative part, I need to go more teamwork, so adapt myself more teamwork oriented or collaborative.
Good. So you have already innovative, you have, but you want
Yes,
to grow in collaborate, you want to grow in collaborative and authoritative. What else you have
yes,
alongside innovative traits?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Alongside innovative traits, what else you have as a trait,
Uh,
please?
I feel so visionary part also I have, empathetic part also I have, empathy with the students. Suppose the students is not doing the work on time and etc. If anything will be there, we can guide them in empathic way also to guide them in such a mission factor so that they can do the work, and that is empathetic part also we have. Okay, but most importantly, we can distinguish I have innovative ideas that I can mark myself.
That's good.
Thank you very much, sir.
That's fine.
And it's a
So
wonderful
anybody
result.
else would like to share his thoughts? Anybody else? Anybody else would like to share his thoughts? What kind of traits you have? 3 in number and 2 you want to grow in. Yes, please. Sorry, there is nobody else to sharing his own his views and traits that he or she has. I don't know the reasons for it. Dr. Diwali Chatterjee,
Yes, sir.
yeah, please.
Yes, sir.
Which ones do you have? Which ones you want to grow in?
Yes, I have already told, sir, that authoritative and collaborative part. Authoritative part, leadership part is required for my side to get. If I get more
Okay, okay,
responsibility
okay.
than the
You
authoritative
have
part.
shared yours. You have shared yours. That's great.
Yes,
There is
yes.
somebody by the name of Dr. Usha Karhe. There is somebody by the name of Sachin Borhade. I think a number of you are, not close to the screen. They're out, and they've just had their mics on. They too also off. They're not listening me, and I think that majority of them, or else they should have been this exercise done. It's very interesting that you have a kind of a deeper thought over these different traits, which are numbering 8 only, to let you know that where you stand, which ones you are in, and which ones you want to grow in, and it surely will help you out in the times to come. But if there is another, nobody is just responding. What about this Swarna Bukhare? Tejas Sharma is there. Tejas Sharma, if he is ready. It's not a question to have been asked. It is a very small exercise that could have been done by you very easily, and it would have further given us a chance to proceed on with the discussion on academic leadership. But anyways, we can't wait. We have to just move ahead. And so, you know that What makes an effective academic leader? Visionary, collaborative, ethical. That makes a very, I can say, effective academic leader. Adaptive, innovative, empathetic. Rightly said, we have to have these kinds of qualities in us. So you cannot be always that stubborn. You cannot be always autocratic kind of a person. Having a collaboration, vision, and all these different traits are very essential and very important for a leader to be an effective and efficient leader. Likewise, we have to do away with, for example, being highly bureaucratic, showing rigidity always, again, favoritism or bias in resource allocation. You know that, for example, as an academic leader, as a head of the department, you are this is a big kind of a disease, I must say, in the departments. Whether the department is close to those particular scholars or helpful and favoring those particular scholars who are close to him or who are working under his supervision or who are working under the supervision of his close friends and colleagues rather than with everyone. Because of the lack of, we can say, accountability and because of the lack of that conscience on the part of the heads of the departments, they, are so much involved in kind of favoritism, discrimination, and leading to a lot of chaos and confusion in the departments. Avoid politicization of the academic decisions, balance autonomy with accountability, means correctives that the pitfalls to avoid. Then, as far as therefore academic leadership is concerned, and as far as trait perspective is concerned, what basically is this trait perspective? Is talking about that you should select the right persons when it comes to selecting them for the leadership roles. And the behavioral perspective is a different one. It says that you can train, people for effective leadership, which is key for leadership development programs. Behavioral decision leadership theory focuses on how leaders connect themselves with tasks and people. Then you have trait theories, for example, theories that consider even weight, height, physique. That was once upon a time considered to be very essential and important for a leader to be an effective leader. Then we have had one of the Chinese philosophers talking much about the traits of the leaders like selflessness, honesty, fair, and hardworking. Now, but we know if we go by the trait perspective, these are the kinds of qualities that people will have that may get transmitted to them through genes. But it means that we may not be able to impart such kinds of traits among us all whom we ought to be the leaders. Therefore, the easy way out is the behavioral perspective. And that is the reason what happened over a period of time, that there were two important universities in USA, one Michigan University, the other one Ohio State University. We just tried to dig deeper into understanding the behaviors of the successful managers, successful leaders, so that that can be imparted, those behaviors could be imparted, those could be taught to the future generation or to the future leaders. Am I audible to you? And are you hearing me properly?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay, please. Because I know that there are only a few which are available there, but although the number is very high, I think. Now, research, that's why research was conducted by Michigan University and Ohio State University long ago, in 1940s till 60s it lasted. And what were some of the key, we can say, findings of these studies? What they found was that Ohio State University, having almost 1,000 dimensions on which to look at the behavior characteristics of the leaders, what they found was the initiating structure and consideration. Two important characteristics and features in the behaviors in the leaders. One was initiating structure, means the extent to which a leader is likely to know or define and structure his own role, which is very important. A leader should be able to know who I am, what's my role, what is expected of me, and those of employees for attaining of professional goals. Then also should have a proper understanding of defining the roles and responsibilities of his followers. And how many times we find that a leader is not well versed with his own role, How many times will you say that this person does not know what seat he is occupying, what chair he is occupying, what important rules and regulations he is supposed to follow, and what he does. And so all that is a kind of a messy situation in organizations where leaders are unable to actually, what we can say, identify their own roles and that of their own followers. Then second important that was found for a successful leader was consideration, extent to which a person's job relationships are characterized by mutual trust, respect for employees' feelings, their inputs, their, we can say, feelings. That's equally very important. Again, as leaders, the moment we take over the roles of leaders, we are quite bereft of all these important qualities: respecting others, deferring others, understanding and respecting their feelings and their, we can say, ideas. And in most of the cases, we turn out to be so bureaucratic that what suits us and what we find, because of the ego that we have, the moment we take over the positions and we got ego with us, and that ego does not allow us to listen to others. Even we might receive very constructive inputs from other side, but then we won't be ready to accept them, only because if that is the case, then it means that I'm not that competent and capable. So when you take, you keep yourself above everyone else, then in that case, you won't be ready to accept anybody's ideas and anybody's, we can say, inputs. You will just fail in that. And as a result of that, you won't find people then coming forward, providing you with the genuine, I can say, inputs or decisions. You won't be able to, because only they won't be ready because of your approach and because of your attitude. So these two dimensions which highlight that effective leaders balance task-oriented and people-oriented behaviors, which means that a leader is not skewed towards only one thing at the cost of the other. It means that a leader cannot, for example, be only friendly, only listen to the ideas and feelings of others. If that is the case, then he won't be a successful one. He has to have a proper balance between task and the people. So there are things that have to be done by the people. And he is to put them to task, and he has to extract work from them as well. But simultaneously, he has to also keep in mind their aspirations, their feelings, their inputs, and their ideas as well. Then another study that was conducted almost the same time. Concurrently, these studies were conducted, while one did not know about this the university is also conducting a similar kind of a research, leader behavior perspective, understanding the behavior of the leaders, successful leaders. What they also found was two important perspectives and two important dimensions. As was the case in the previous one, that was the initiating structure, that is akin to production-oriented leader. And the second one was the consideration, that is akin to the employee-oriented leader. So employee-oriented leader is one who has a strong concern for subordinates, fostering a supportive work environment and encouraging participation in decision making. While when it comes to the production-oriented leader, we see that a production-oriented leader emphasizes the tasks or technical aspects of the job with focus on attaining group goals. So we have two different dimensions which are akin to what the Ohio State University has come up with. The overall idea that comes into picture is that a leader, you would be tomorrow leaders, you would be tomorrow heads of the departments, the deans of the schools, principals. So you know that everybody gets a chance by and large, and especially in the universities where this system of career advancement scheme. So by and large, everybody has got a chance to be the head, to be the dean, to be the I can say the holding some other key positions in the universities, and otherwise also as teachers, as faculty members, we are leaders. So we have otherwise a very important role to play. And back in our homes, this is not something that we should just be confining ourselves at workplaces. Beyond it, we can make use of it. Employee-oriented, production-oriented. So the thing is basically that when it comes to the behavioral perspective, we have to keep in mind both the things. We cannot be skewed towards only production at the cost of being employee-oriented, or else, vice versa. We have to maintain the balance. That's all the point necessary. Now, an important aspect is that when you talk about an initiating structure and consideration, since these are very contradictory kind of things, where one, you are initiating structure, you are task oriented. On the other side, you have a consideration for your employees. What to do when? Shall we simultaneously use both of them? These are important kinds of weapons in the hands of the leader. Is he to use both of them simultaneously, or how he has to use it? On whom he has to use it? Are you hearing me properly, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We can hear.
Okay, so we have, this is a strong weapon in the hands of a leader concerned. But the point is that what should he use when? You know that you have different kinds of students. Some students are very much forthcoming. You're asking them to come for presentations, you're asking them to come for various internal examinations or tests. They're ready to. So then there are students who are not that ready. Then there are students who are willing to do it, but they don't have a competence. So we have different kinds of, workers also, different kinds of employees as well. Some of the employees are like they know how to do the things, and they are also very competent, and they are also willing to do. There again is a difference. A person is willing to do but is not competent. Then a person who is competent to do but is not willing to do. Then another category could be that a person is willing to do and he has got a competence as well. At least 4 categories we have, where we find some people, and then there is a one category of people who are neither willing to do nor are they competent. They're not ready to learn as well. Students might be of that nature, some of them, even or employees at times at workplaces. They may not be that competent to do a particular task, but more ironically, they may not be even interested in knowing about how to do it. So could be the case with the students as well. They might have students, they are not competent, but they are also not willing to learn. Unlike students who are incompetent, but they are willing to do. Willingness is there. Likewise, female students, they are very competent, but they are unwilling. Then there is a category of employees or students who are willing to do and they have a required competence as well. So that speaks about the volume, that speaks about the readiness of the employees. So we have to have different strategies for them, for a person or for the employees who are ready to do and they have also a required competence. You have to just go on delegating them. You need not to teach them what to do and how to do it, because they have got the required commitment or required competence and they know how to do the things also. Then we might have employees, we might come across employees who might be able, but they might be unwilling, very participating. Initiating structure is low because they know the things. Consideration will matter. We have to be very considerate towards them. Digging deep into what makes them annoyed, what makes them not to contribute. So that's very essential. Likewise, we may have unable but willing. Initiating structure high, consideration high. So in that case, if a person is unable and he is willing, but he is unable but he is willing, what we have to do on both fronts. We have to initiate structure, we have to tell the person how to do the things, and then also we have to be considerate as well. We have to consider his emotions and his feelings and his ideas as well. Likewise, we have some who are unable and they are unwilling, which is a category of employees for whom you have to initiate a structure, tell them what to do, and then also you have not to show any sympathy towards them. So this is very important and very crucial in our lives as well. So if you are a faculty, you are head of the department, looking at your subordinate staff, and if they are any of these categories, you proceed on accordingly. So you cannot be harsh every time on a person who is otherwise willing to do but is unable. You have to have a consideration for them or for such kinds of employees. So you have to be a little courteous, a little harsher with the employees who are unwilling and who are unable as well. Am I audible to you? Are you listening me properly, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, when it comes to DEP 2020 and a focus on academic leaders, there are some important, we started with it only, introduction of autonomy, multidisciplinary system, multiple entry and exit points, academic banks of credit, proposed increased cross enrollment ratio. So all this is something which is very challenging, which is not that I can say easy. And there are so many other regulatory norms that are coming up, and that will surely demand an intervention from an academic leader. So this is not a kind of a job that can be done by a very traditional kind of a person who doesn't have a proper understanding and He's not absorbing these different kinds of what we call as recommendations and different kinds of challenges that NEP 2020 has posed. So in that context, it's a must that we are well versed with. We have a proper exposure to the nitty-gritties of academic leadership, how to run our academic institutions, how different we should be from what we were some time ago, how traditional we used it to be. Now things are changing. So it's a huge transition from being so old, so traditional, so bookish, and so rule-oriented alone, than to be more visionary and more open and more innovative. That is a huge transition, and all of us have to pass through. And then, for example, academic leadership and NEP 2020 is concerned, strategic role in implementing NEP reforms. Now, again, leader has a very important role. Leaders like principals, HODs, deans, they must interpret these reforms and strategically implement them within institutions. The first important and the first and foremost that a leader has to do under NEP 2020 is to understand what NEP 2020 is, what are the various reforms that have been initiated, that have been proposed, and how these particular initiatives and how these different kinds of proposed, for example, reforms could be executed and put to practice. You have to think about it as a principal, as a head, as a dean. It cannot be entrusted to a person who is not otherwise liable for. For example, in some of the departments, what we could see in the University of Kashmir, when NEP 2020 was to be implemented, they entrusted this job to the contractuals, teaching assistants. Let them understand and let them do it. They were not able to justify when they would initiate any kind of a change. And then, of course, head of the department also used to remain mute spectator only because he had not himself immersed in the concept, reforms, what these reforms actually demand, how these reforms can be brought in. So when a principal, when a head of the department, when a dean of the school will not be well aware of these reforms, he won't be able to initiate any it in proper way. So that's very important. Likewise, transition to multidisciplinary education. We know that holistic learning, as we talked about, multidisciplinary, not in the meaning in silos, in one particular silo. No, you can go beyond that. A commerce student can take up history. A history student can take up commerce. So this is how. And then also there's a provision for, we can say, two majors as well. You can have two majors also simultaneously. Requisite number of credits for one major, requisite for the other one. So this is how things are basically shaping up. And for these different things, our academic leaders have to be well versed with all this. They have to have an extra knowledge, extra information, because execution matters, not only the policy. Policies are there. They also have put in lots of their efforts in coming up with the relevant policies. But then it is we who can otherwise create a havoc when it comes to implementing this NEP 2020. Autonomy, and again we talk about autonomy, institutional transformation, effective is required to build internal governance, quality assurance mechanisms, and institutional innovation. That has to be done. We know that we have got some universities who are multidisciplinary education and research universities. So MERUs, where we have the job of a university is to just provide only to conduct research, only to enroll students for research. Focus on research, innovation, and quality. Then we have some universities whose focus has to be on coursework plus, we can say, research. Some coursework plus coursework. Suppose in our university, we have both options open for a student. He can opt for coursework plus research, or he can opt for coursework plus coursework. But then there are universities who have been confined to MERU only, and they have to just, I can say, provide the multidisciplinary education research, which they are considered as, and a high amount of research input has to be in their degrees. Then focus on research innovation. Again, we know that academic leaders now play a central role in promoting a research culture, facilitating faculty development, guiding this refresher, orientation courses, and also fostering collaborations to enhance institutional research and output and societal relevance. Again, an important aspect of today's leader is to look into that the kind of research that we are conducting, is it socially relevant? Does it really benefit the society or not? If it does not benefit the society, what's the fun of conducting such kinds of research? Again, very important aspect of today's research. Though it's not only that NEP has focused, but of course, there is a huge emphasis on it that you have to keep in mind the requirements of the society. So our research is not simply academic, that might fetch us a degree and also maybe a job or a promotion. But an important aspect of it is that we keep in mind that the social relevance of our research that we are conducting. Likewise, technology integration and digital transformation, promotion of digital education, blended learning, online assessments, academic tutors must drive digital transformation. They should know about transformation, digital transformation. They should have a know of it. Ensuring faculty and students are trained and equipped to use technology effectively, because the modern world is full of technology. And then how is it possible that we can afford to have students not using proper technology? They are well abreast with it. They know the advantages, the benefits. Likewise, competency-based and outcome-based education. Now, again, you know that when we used to come up with the course curriculum, course structure, the syllabus, we would hardly at times keep in mind that how much the objectives of that course are related to our program as such, But that time is gone now. We can never think of such a scenario. We have to be very careful about one aspect, which is so the point is basically that we have to shift towards learning outcomes, skill development, employability. So we have to keep in mind whether there is an alignment of PLO, CLO. Every program has got a learning outcome, and every program has got naturally the courses, and every course has got a course learning outcome. These course learning outcomes have to be necessarily evaluated, mapped with, and aligned with the overall program learning outcomes. Deviations have to be done away with. They cannot continue with that aspect that we may simply have traditionally some objectives of the course and proceed on. Look at it as a very important issue that we are doing curriculum mapping, where PLO, CLOs are being related to each other. So any course which, for example, deviates from the program learning outcomes strongly or heavily, that you have to change the course contents. So it means that the syllabus that you frame for the course has to be done and done properly and very seriously. Likewise, we have lots of things that are there in NEP 2020, capacity building and faculty empowerment programs. We still remember, we still know that there are departments, there are heads of the departments, there are principals of the colleges who do not allow their faculty to grow through these capacity building programs or faculty empowerment programs. It is incumbent upon them that they have to leave them so that they join such programs, because that's what will benefit them. That's what will help them out in shaping and in making their, personalities, and in growing with the times, in growing with the challenges that NEP 2020 is posing otherwise. Because if you remain unaware of it, these are the programs which will help you out in understanding them properly. Now, when it comes to academic leadership, again, we have to keep in mind necessarily one important aspect, that is guiding and influencing members of an academic institution. Well, that's what your leadership is. Academic leadership involves that, guiding, influencing members of an academic institution, such as faculty, staff, through learning, research, and personal development. Important aspects of any, university or an institution. Learning, research, and personal development. And in order to facilitate it, in order to ensure it, what kind of a system do we require? Do we require a collegial system, or do we require a control, command, and control-centric system? As I said earlier as well, in academic institutions, there has to be a democratic setup at place. We have to keep in mind the democratic setup. We have to look into, for instance, we have to look into how actually these departments and academic institutions work. You find that everywhere you have got some, you have departmental committees, you have research committees. There are different kinds of committees that only ensure democracy. They only ensure democratic, we can say, ways of dealing with the things or taking up the decisions. And as a result of that, the basic funda on which academic institutions are actually, I can say, based is a collegial system, not a control-centric system. Where if a head of the department is taking the role of an autocrat, he will do it of his own. I have heard from a very reliable source about one of the prestigious universities in the country where the faculty had gone for summer break of 2 months or so, and once they returned, they found that altogether a different structure, course structure is being handed over to them. Different kinds of courses are being handed over to them. Naturally, when a course structure was changed, the courses were also changed. The faculty members registered that. They said, how is it possible that without consulting the departmental committees, without consulting any departmental member, you have come up with this kind of a course structure without discussing the issue with us? Then so much so the vice chancellor had to intervene. And under the, we can say, presence, and in fact, under the chairmanship of the vice chancellor, a meeting was to be held. And in that meeting, it was decided that the previous course structure and the curriculum that was, I can say, in vogue in 2024 will only be implemented. That only will be implemented. So it means that indicates that heads of the departments can turn out to be so bureaucratic at times. Without bothering to consult to the rest of the members, you take a call on changing a course structure. So this is just how bureaucratic a person can turn out to be as a head of the department simply. And the system basically, the way it has been, we can say, provided, it has to be always democratic. You have to always seek the opinions and inputs from your faculty so that to make it more what is called democratic than to make it autocratic. Then again, we have some, but one thing that we have to keep in mind is surely the kind of personality that you are. For example, are you achievement-oriented personality, affiliation-oriented personality, autonomy-oriented personality, or a dominance, I can say, kind of a personality. Domineering kind of personalities are those who least concerned about the repercussions and implications, who have a least concern for taking inputs from the subordinates or from other colleagues because of the dominance that they want to show. Those high dominance are very effective while opening environments where they can exercise their legitimate authority. And then we know in academic institutions, it is impossible that you can have that legitimate authority to be implemented every now and then, because there are so many things which do not remain in the zone of indifference. There is a concept that we call as zone of indifference, inside and outside zone of indifference. Inside zone of indifference actually means that zone of indifference where the head of the department has nothing to do. I mean, the faculty will have to accept it of its own. For example, taking class regularly, guiding scholars, maintaining attendance of the students. These are the things which are normal, that every faculty member, by dint of his job description, he has to do. But if suppose you are asking a faculty member to record the minutes of the meetings, you are asking the faculty members to be a member of a sports committee or a chair of a sports committee, so that you have to accordingly take students to different fields or grounds wherein they have to do practice. These are beyond the zone of indifference. They come under the outside zone of indifference purview. But here you would be a successful head of the department only once you have tried to enlarge your zone of indifference. That means many things do come under the ambit of zone of indifference, inside zone of indifference. That is bigger. And what does that actually mean? That actually means that your subordinates would, without questioning your authority, because out of respect, out of your dignity, out of your authority, they accept what you ask them to do. So in that context, what is essentially important for us to bear in mind is that when it comes to an academic institution, such is not the case, such is not the environment. We have always to go by the democratic standards, wherein everybody has to be, taken into confidence while taking decisions, because the implications of those decisions are all on all the members of the department. So naturally, you cannot keep some in good mood, and you cannot keep somebody in the meetings and just avoid some. So therefore, it all depends upon the kind of a personality you have. and the way you want to basically do it. There is an exercise, I don't know whether you would be in a position to do it. Another very small exercise it is, having 16 items that actually indicates that where you are more related to. Are you achievement orientated? Are you affiliation orientated? Or you have, for example, autonomy orientated? Or you are more democratic, dominant kind of a leader. 16 items are there. You can take a screenshot of it. You can do it afterwards because we're left with very few minutes, and maybe you have got some questions also to ask or some clarifications to seek. So naturally, I may not ask you to do this exercise, but you can take a screenshot and you can do it later on of your own. Again, there's a 7-point scale that is to be put to use. 7-point scale. You can put a score against each statement, starting from I got satisfaction from meeting difficult challenges. So till the 16th item, I am motivated by opportunities to control important decisions. So until that, it's you to basically give a score and accordingly sum it up and see what kind of a personality you are. And the first 4 belong to affiliation, second to the first 4 achievement, 5 to 8, they are related to the affiliation, 9 to 12, their autonomy, and 13 to 16 indicate your dominance, that kind of instinct in you. Very essential is the attitude, the knowledge, and the behavior for a leader. Effective leaders. What does that actually indicate? What good leaders are? They are self-aware. They know who they are. Initiating structure. They have a complete know of their own. They are flexible also. They're not stubborn. They are open. They're honest. They're discreet. They're visible and outgoing. They're willing to be wrong. Again, a leader who is not egoistic would accept it. Yes, I don't want, I would be wrong, or I could be wrong. There is a possibility. But while you leave that option out, you say, no, I can't be wrong because I'm a leader, because I'm head of the institution. So that means that he is actually not a leader, willing to be wrong and accepting advice, supporting it, sensitive to the views of others. Then an important aspect of a leader is be considerate, listen to others' inputs and feelings. Knowledge, what good leaders know? Knowledge of university life, understand how the university system works, understand academic processes. These are really important, very vital. And in most of the cases, we fail in understanding them. And in most of the cases, we are unable to justify why we are demanding this and why we are demanding that. We are unable to basically question why something was denied to me, because we lack knowledge of our system. We lack knowledge of our university life and university system. So as a result of that, in spite of any kind of a discrimination that is being done with us, we accept it only because we don't have a proper understanding of the rules and regulations. Then behaviors that our leaders exhibit always work to maintain academic credibility, act as a role model. So if suppose you are not taking classes regularly, what kind of academic you could be tomorrow? What kind of a role model you could be tomorrow? So that's the prime responsibility every one of us has. So if we are not dealing with the prime responsibility and discharging it properly, what other responsibilities can we discharge then? Act as a role model, think broadly and strategically. Again, a teacher has to think very broadly, keeping in mind various contours of the decision. Likewise, engage with people, listen to others, consult with others, negotiate with others, communicate clearly, delegate, motivate, act as mentors, and build teams. So again, an important aspect of our leadership is that we act very responsibly, and we act, in a manner that is helpful for us as well as individuals and also for our colleagues. So in fact, very interesting it is that we engage people, we engage them, we create a democratic setup. We do not stay, we can say, complacent with our own knowledge, information, or our own competence. That will lead us nowhere. We have to be always, collegiate in the sense we have to always push and we have to always promote and encourage the collegial and a democratic setup in our, I can say, departments, in our universities, and in our college if we, hold the power of principal or head of the department. So if you want, I can stop here and I will leave the floor open for you to raise questions. Yes, please, or I shall move forward. Shall I proceed on, or this is the time I can expect some queries from your end? So, okay, sir. Yes, please, if you got any questions too. Yes, please, if you got any questions. Are you there? Please, do you have any questions to ask or any queries or any clarifications? Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Any questions, please? I can go with that time. Yes, please. If you got any questions to raise. Any clarifications? So what is the coordinator, please?
Except Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for the next week.
मैं देखूंगा डिटेल। अब जाओ उसको साइन कराओ। Yes, sir. Do we have a coordinator there, please?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, Professor Saab. I just wanted them, if they've got any clarifications to seek from me, but they prefer to be silent.
Sir, I think they are replying in the chat boxes.
Oh, I have not seen it, and I was busy with something very important here. But there is no question as such they have raised, no?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, sir. No questions have been raised by the any participants.
Okay. Okay, then it's fine. So,
I think we should conclude, sir, if you could permit.
yes, sir, please.
So on behalf of Malve Mission Teacher Training Center and Gadge Baba Amravati University and Anuradha College of Engineering and Technology, Chikli, I extend my sincere thanks to Professor Nazir sir for such a wonderful and exercisable session towards this academic leadership and institutional governance and management. We are luckily thankful to you, sir, because getting such kind of inputs, uh, although the participants are not replying, but the chats is there, and really it's a wonderful session. You have provided the deeper understanding towards the adoption of the this leadership skill in our institution, and that will be really helpful for us towards the implementation of this national education policy. But not only the national education policy, but the entire future paradigmic shift of this national this education from one era to another era. These inputs are very valuable, and definitely, sir, we will assure that your inputs we will inculcate in our future roadmap. So with this, why I once again extend my sincere thanks to you, and with the kind consent of Professor Nazir sir, I would like to declare that this particular session will over here, and we will move for the next session. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving me a chance to interact with the valued participants. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Participants, we will move for the next session within 1 or 2 minutes. Please stay be connected. Hello, Professor Joshi sir.
Namaskar, sir.
Sir, namaskar, namaskar. Sir, if you could permit, shall we start with the session, sir?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, friends, good afternoon, one and all, once again. As we have already discussed in the beginning of this session, that the today's session have been split into the two different parts. And one part we have almost completed, that is the academic leadership, governance, and management. Now we are moving towards the another part of the today's session, and that is very much important vertical of this national education policy. You might be heard about this Indian knowledge system, Bharatiya Gyan Parampara, in the different webinar, workshops, and somehow we have generated to create generic IQS course for our university, and university is moving towards the drafting the syllabi or the curricula for the domain-specific IQS courses that have been some domains provided by the University Grants Commission on the different aspect that is related to the different subject and the interdisciplinary in the nature. So we're going to discuss this important, very much important vertical of this national education policy that policymaker has paid more emphasis on this vertical with the help of one renowned scholarly and the eminent expert, Professor Jagdish Joshi sir. So first of all, sir, I extend my warm welcome to you to this flagship program and particularly.
Thank you very much.
Friends, Professor Jagdish Joshi sir is at present serving as the professor and the director of this Malvi Mission Teacher Training Center at Gujarat University, Ahmedabad. He is the profound leader and policy and the instrumental in the policy maker. Having a sir has served as a officiating vice chancellor of the Gujarat University, Ahmedabad. Not only with only the vice chancellor, he is the director of the Center for the GEMS Rennie Canadian Centers. Also the online teaching, learning, and the communication cell. He is the director of the Center for the Distance and the Online Education. Offers for the international office and hold the office for the international affairs and the head department of linguistics at the Gujarat University, Ahmedabad. He is the chairperson nominated by His Excellency and the Governor of Madhya Pradesh for the Search Cum Selection Committee for the appointment of obdusment person, that is the Lokpal in the Madhya Pradesh government. He is the president of the Indian Association of Canadian Studies. He is also the coordinator of MHRD's ARPIT program, that is the annual refresher program in teaching for particular English language, and National Testing Agency of the Ministry of the Education. He is closely associated with the various national as well as the international professional bodies and actively engaged in the teaching, learning, research, e-content development, translation, editing, compilation, consultancy, and social activities. Professor Joshi sir has imparting professional training to the college as well as the university teacher, administrative, and the key stakeholders of the university, colleges, and the research scholars, principal, etc. since from 2005. He has facilitated with the National Award for the Education by the United Nations Organization, UNO, in the 2006. He has visited more than 21 countries that prominently includes the Canada, US, UK, Germany, South Korea, Australia, Netherlands, France, Switzerland for the various academic assignments. He is the member of the International Council for Canadian Studies at the Canada, Executive Council of the Shastri Indo-Canadian Institution, New Delhi. Apart from the member of the Executive Council, Board of Management, and the Academic Council of the various universities, he is the chairman of the Board of Studies of the English at the Gujarat University and the convener of the BOS for the International Studies in the Diaspora and the Migration Studies and the Linguistic, and a member of the BOS of different universities. He has published one patent and edited of the 17 different books and 87 research papers that has been published in the reputed national as well as the international journal in the ABDC index and Scopus SCI CITES index. Under his able guidance, 19 scholars have been completed their PhD degree. He has designed more than 600 different programs, that is the faculty development program. He regularly contributed to the TV, radio and satellite program, e-journals, website and the academic journal. He has visited various institutions as a chairperson for the NAC PAT. He is the principal investigator and completed the major research project funded by the University Grants Commission. One of the most important achievement of the Professor Joshi sir, his ARPIT, that is the annual refresher program in teaching in the subject of English that has been launched on the SWAM platform of the Government of India, stood second among the ARPIT program category in the India with the participation of 9,000 participants. He has organized more than 134 online short-term programs on e-content development. He has participated in the most prestigious leadership leap program that is that jointly organized by the Howard University USA and the NEPA that is situated in the New Delhi. Professor Joshi sir has more than the 3 decades of experience as a full-time university professor, and he is instrumentally engaged in the teachers training, not only the teachers training, but also the policy making for in this national education policy, not only for his university, but also for the Gujarat state, and ultimately being the director of this Malvi Mission Teacher Training Center across the country. So we are luckily fortunate to get such kind of eminent personality, scholarly personality to enlighten us on a very such important and the crucial component and the vertical of this national education policy. Friends, before starting the sessions, whatever may be your doubts with regards to this Indian knowledge system, because whenever we are conducting n number of workshops and the webinars or some frequently meetings in our BOS or the academic council, there are some kind of criticism with regards to this IKS. But I believe that, and every policymaker believe that this is a very important vertical, and because from this vertical we are bringing our ancient technology and our ancient culture in the recent era, and definitely this concept of local to global will make the India sustainable and atmanirbhar. So with this, I once again extend my warm welcome to Professor Joshi sir, and sir, may I request you to please start with your session, sir, please. Sir, you are muted, sir, please unmute
Yeah.
yourself.
Thank you. Thank you very much for very elaborative introduction. Whom I'm talking to, I'm so sorry, I don't know who was introducing me. Professor, what's your name?
Sir, this is Ankit from Amravati University, sir.
Ankit, yeah. Ankitji, thank you very much for a detailed, elaborative introduction. First of all, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Mohammed Atik, Professor and Director of Malvi Mission Teacher Training Center, Sant Gadge Baba, Amravati University, Amravati. He is one of very vibrant directors of MMTTCs in India. Amravati MMTTC is one of very vibrant MMTTCs, very famous MMTTCs in the country. They are organizing various programs and making sincere and serious efforts to make this professional development program more fruitful and more useful to the fraternity of academicians across the globe, across the country. Friends, the topic which I'm going to talk about is very interesting. It is Indian knowledge system, which I would like to talk about. That's why I would greet you with namaste, namaste and warm greetings to all esteemed colleagues, scholars, and fellow educators. As a professor and lifelong student of this vast and profound tradition, let us go for a journey of the intellectual, spiritual, and cultural landscapes that have shaped India's identity for millennia. Indian knowledge system refers to holistic, interdisciplinary body of Holistic and interdisciplinary body of knowledge that has evolved over thousands of years in the Indian subcontinent. It encompasses a wide array of disciplines, including philosophy, sciences, mathematics, medicine, art, architecture, literature, ethics, and environmental studies. Unlike the compartmentalized approach of modern academia, Indian knowledge system embraces a unified vision of knowledge where the material and the spiritual, the empirical and the intuitive are seen as complementary facets of truth. कल्पेश ने बोला था बेटा, the Sanskritama Vidya encapsulates this idea as the Taittiriya Upanishad states, Sa Vidyaya Vimuktaya. So, we all are aware of these words. True knowledge is that which liberates. This liberation is not merely spiritual, but intellectual, ethical, and ecological. Indian knowledge system is thus not a relic of the past, but a living tradition that continues to inform and inspire contemporary thought and practice. Indian knowledge system is the bedrock of Indian cultural practices, from the daily rituals of lighting a lamp to the grand celebrations of festivals. Celebrations of festivals like Diwali and Holi. Every act is imbued with symbolic meaning and philosophical depth. The concept of Rata, that is Rutu, that means cosmic order, governs not only the natural world, but also human conduct. This is reflected in the cyclical nature of time, the agriculture calendar, and the observance of fast and the feasts. Indian philosophy or darshan offer profound insights into the nature of reality, consciousness, and ethics. Schools such as Advaita Vedanta, Sankhya, and Nyaya have contributed to global philosophical discourse. The Bhagavad Gita, for instance, is not merely a religious text, but a treatise on duty, action, and self-realization. As Krishna says to Arjuna, Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You have the right to perform your duties. You have the right to perform your duties, but not to the fruits thereof. Indian temples are not just places of worship, but embodiments of cosmic principles. The layout of a temple follows the Vastu Shastra, which aligns architecture with the laws of nature. The Brihadeshwara temple in Tamil Nadu, for example, demonstrates advanced knowledge of geometry, acoustics, and astronomy. Similarly, classical dance forms like Bharatanatyam are visual expressions of spiritual narratives codified in texts like Natya Shastra. The Gurukula system emphasized holistic education, combining intellectual rigor with moral and spiritual development. Students lived with their teachers, imbibing knowledge through oral transmission and experiential learning. Ancient universities like Nalanda and Takshashila attracted scholars from across Asia and offered courses in logic, medicine, mathematics, and metaphysics. Indian contributions to global knowledge are immense. The concept of zero, the decimal system, and the surgical techniques described in the Shushruta Samhita have had a lasting impact. The spread of Buddhism carried Indian philosophical ideas to East and Southeast Asia, while translations of Sanskrit texts influenced Islamic and European scholars during the medieval period. Ayurveda, the ancient science of life, is gaining global recognition for its holistic approach to health. Institutions like the All India Institute of Ayurveda are integrating traditional knowledge with modern research. Practices such as Panchakarma and Rasa therapy are being studied for their efficacy in managing chronic diseases and enhancing immunity. Yoga, rooted in Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, has become a global movement. The United Nations Declaration of June 21st as International Yoga Day is testament to its universal appeal beyond physical fitness. Yoga offers tools for mental clarity and spiritual growth. Efforts are underway to revive Sanskrit as a medium of instruction and scholarship. Institutions like Rashtriya Sanskrita Sansthan and Sanskrit Bharati movements are promoting conservational Sanskrit and translating scientific texts. This revival is crucial for assessing primary sources of Indian knowledge system in their original form. The Indian knowledge system is not merely an academic subject, but a civilizational compass. It offers a vision of knowledge that is integrative, ethical, and sustainable. As educators and scholars, it is our responsibility to preserve, promote, and propagate this legacy. Let us draw inspiration from the words of Swami Vivekananda. We must keep our knowledge open to all, and at the same time, preserve our individuality and our spiritual heritage. May our collective efforts lead to renaissance of Indian knowledge, not just in classrooms and conferences, but in hearts and minds of future generations. This is what I would like to begin for Indian knowledge system. Friends, there are few things which I'll share with you in form of the slideshow as well. There are few things which I would like to share and talk to you regarding them. Let us have a look at this slideshow. Yes. So this is the beginning which I have discussed with you, Indian knowledge system. There are various things which I am going to discuss. Introduction to Indian knowledge system, Vedic literature, its cultural impact, and there are few other. I would like to begin with definition and significance of Indian knowledge system. Importance of IKS in understanding Indian culture and heritage. These are the few things which I would like to begin with. The Indian knowledge system encompasses the vast body of knowledge that has evolved over millennia in Bharatvarsha. The system integrates diverse fields such as philosophy, science, art, medicine, and spirituality, reflecting the holistic and interdisciplinary nature of ancient Indian thought. The term Sanatana denotes mix the term Sanatana denotes the eternal and timeless essence of this knowledge, which was passed down through generations, continually enriching Indian culture and intellectual traditions. The significance of Indian knowledge system lies in its comprehensive approach to understanding life and the universe. Unlike many contemporary systems that compartmentalize knowledge into distinct disciplines, Indian knowledge system interviews domains, presenting a unified vision of reality. This integrative perspective is evident in texts such as Veda and Upanishad, where philosophical inquiries, scientific observations, and spiritual insights, they all coexist. Understanding Indian knowledge system is crucial for comprehending the depth and the richness of Indian culture and heritage. The Indian knowledge system is not just an academic construct, but a living tradition that has profoundly shaped the social, cultural, and spiritual fabric of Indian society. The Veda, comprising the Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharvaveda, are among the oldest sacred texts in the world. These texts provide insights into the early Indian worldview, encompassing cosmology, rituals, ethics, and social organization. The Rig Veda, for instance, contains ruchas that address various deities and natural forces, reflecting a profound reverence for the natural world. This reverence is not just a religious sentiment, but a cultural ethos that has influenced environmental conservation practices in India. The Upanishads, a collection of philosophical texts, dwell into profound metaphysical questions about the nature of reality, the self, and the universe. Concepts such as Brahma, the ultimate reality, and Atma, the individual soul, are eternal to Indian philosophical thought and have influenced the various aspects of Indian culture, including art, literature, and spirituality. For example, the principles of unity in diversity, derived from the idea of oneness of all existence, is a central aspect of Indian cultural identity. Ancient Indian sciences, particularly in the field of astronomy, mathematics, and medicine, have made significant contributions to global knowledge. Aryabhatiya introduced the concept of zero and discussed the earth's rotation, while Sushrut Samhita of Sushruta laid the foundation of surgery. These scientific advancements are not isolated achievements, but are embedded in the broader cultural context, reflecting the Indian tradition of holistic inquiry and innovation. Ayurveda, the ancient Indian system of medicine, emphasizes the balance between the body, mind, and spirit. The holistic approach to health and well-being is not only a medical practice, but also a cultural heritage that informs daily life, dietary habits, and wellness practices in India. For instance, the use of natural herbs and dietary regulations in Ayurveda is mirrored in Indian culinary traditions, highlighting the integration of health and lifestyle. The practice of yoga The meditation rooted in ancient Indian spirituality have gained global recognition of their benefits to physical, mental, and spiritual health. The Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, a key text on yoga, outline the eightfold path that includes ethical precepts, physical postures, breath control, and meditation. These practices are integral to Indian culture and are celebrated in various forms, from daily routines to international yoga festivals. The Indian knowledge system is a testament to profound intellectual and cultural achievements of ancient India. By integrating diverse fields such as knowledge and traditions, Indian knowledge system offers a holistic perspective essential to understanding the rich embroidery of Indian culture and heritage. Appreciating this system not only honors India's past, but also provides valuable insights for addressing contemporary challenges holistically and integratively. Now, dear scholars, I would like to again take you to one very beautiful, musical, and picturesque video on Indian knowledge system. This video is basically prepared by Government of India. It is prepared by the Ministry of Education, Government of India. Government of India, Ministry of Education has developed one department called Indian Knowledge System. Under this department, they have developed a video entitled, just 1 minute, I have to stop it. I have to stop sharing and I have to share it again. Yes, share the sound, optimize video sharing. Fine. So this video is specially prepared by Ministry of Education and Department of Indian Knowledge Systems. It says, discover the learning traditions of Bharat. It's a musical journey. It takes us to different parts of India. It takes us to Indian knowledge systems by Ministry of Education. A very beautiful.
Most stories
Let's have a look.
are about lost civilization. This is about a living one. For millions of years, mankind took birth and life for granted, going through the motions of survival. But somewhere, profound insights regarding the nature of our existence dawned upon an ancient people, the people of India. As civilizational wisdom expanded, learning itself became a sophisticated tradition for the Hindus. Continuous knowledge transmissions meant that the most sublime heights of civilizational development were achieved and refined by successive generations. But slowly, the times changed. Not just for India, but for the world. Today we find ourselves tangled in the web of environmental disasters, pandemics, and rapidly changing technology. If we do not intervene, perhaps future generations will inherit a different earth. I embark on a mission to search for the answers to these questions. This journey takes me to the heartland of the world's oldest living civilization. The rolling hills and lush green fields of southern India that hold countless civilizational secrets. A meeting of great significance is about to take place in Thanjavur, the cultural seat of the great Chola Empire. In the giant shadow of Brihadeshwar, I am joined by Professor Mahadevan from IIM Bangalore. Professor Mahadevan has devoted his life to exploring the vast canvas of Indian knowledge systems.
As you see, Indian knowledge system has three words there: Indian, knowledge, and system. So each one of them has some meaning. Therefore, Indian essentially means the Akhanda Bharat, which means somewhere from Afghanistan up to, I would say, Burma and even beyond that. So that's the Indian part of it. Knowledge is both formal and informal, or literary and non-literary, if you want it that way. So we are sitting in a very beautiful temple complex here. Yes, so this temple is about 1,000 years old. There's a whole gamut of know-how or knowledge which is required to putting up this structure, which should remain also intact for 1,000 years. You need to know how to put the structure, layout and planning, what kind of logistics. There's so much of granite being used. There isn't granite around. So we don't know how they brought so much of volumes of granite here. So in modern terms, logistics and supply chain management, if I have to call it, applied things like mathematics, astronomy, town planning and architecture, metalworking, we have been wonderful. There is a culmination of a number of ideas that the know-how which went behind all these, we can call it as system. So that way we can call it as Indian knowledge system, which is in practice, which is in use.
சிற்ப சாஸ்திரத்துல தசதாள பிரமாணம்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. உத்தம தசதாளம், மத்தியம தசதாளம், அதம தசதாளம். அந்த தாள பிரமாணங்கள்ல தான் நான் அளவுகளை நியமிச்சு முகம் இவ்வளவு, கழுத்து இவ்வளவு, மார்பு இவ்வளவு, நெஞ்சு இவ்வளவுங்கிறத ஒரு பிரதானமா சிற்பக்கலையில அதை சொல்லி தான் நான் அமைக்கிறோம். அந்த பிரதான மூல ஆதாரமான அந்த தசதாள பிரமாணத்துல முழுமையா அளவு பிரமாணத்தோட அமைஞ்ச ஒரு சிற்பம் தான் சோழர்கால சிற்பக்கலை. அதனால தான் மற்ற சிற்பத்தை விட சோழர்கால சிற்பம் அளவுலையும் அழகுலையும் மிக நேர்த்தியா இருக்கிறதால தான் இந்த உலக அளவுல சோழர்கால சிற்பக்கலை இந்த அளவுக்கு உலக புகழ் பெற்றது.
On the banks of River Neela, nestled within nature's bosom, is Kerala Ayurveda Samajam. Established in 1902 by the Zamorian of Calicut, the Samajam continues to preserve the ancient Indian knowledge system of Ayurveda in its pristine form.
What a beautiful campus you have. It's in the middle of the nature. So how many types of herbs you must be having here?
Maybe 1,000, more than 1,000.
Tell us about the great tradition of Natya Shastra.
Natya Shastra is not only a text for dance or music, it is a text for Shilpa, Kavya, Chitra, and many other kind of art forms. Without the element of dance, the knowledge of sculptor is incomplete. Without the element of the music, the knowledge of dance is incomplete. So all the art forms is closely attached to each other. In the Agama Vidhis, the Nritya Gita is also a part. So our ancestors, our rulers, kings gave importance to dance and music in the temple.
So there was a beautiful, you can say, combination of, art, literature, divinity, spirituality, dharma.
Art is a form of worship, and also worshipping through the art is itself offering to the God.
Oh, that's beautiful. Very well said, The art is worship, and worship is art. Yes. Oh, wow.
Samananam kaja kutila sundara tilaka brura kamayanka samananam apaharana tulasi dasa trasa vihara vrinda kananam gopala Priya Gopa Gosuda Vallabham Charanaravinda Aha Bhajan Bhajaniya Sura Muni Durlabham Gopal 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 Gopal
The more I become aware of the knowledge systems of India, I get convinced that all these paramparas are unified by a common thread. The entire culture is drenched in reverence for the sacred. But this uniqueness is most vivid in India's scientific traditions. To get a taste of it, I had to Nalakuda, the seat of Kerala School of Mathematics, to the home of Madhav, its founder.
When you add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus etc. up to infinity, then it's some Greek mathematicians say it is infinite. But it was Madhava who said it is not infinite, it is a finite n into n plus 1 by 2. We attribute this to Gauss theorem, 200 years after Madhava's time. So he discovered trigonometric series, inverse trigonometric series. Now Britannica has renamed it Madhava Grigori series, Madhava Newton Raphson series, like that.
This is the ancestral
temple of Madhava's family. This you see the two granites. These are the two granites where one granite stone was used by Madhava to meditate, and the other stone for lying down and see the planets in the sky, full night. Then they constructed the whole orbit of the planets. 2 centuries before Copernicus, 3 centuries before Newton.
Why the discussion of Indian knowledge system cannot be complete without referring to Indian astronomy?
Indian knowledge system has a very deep antiquity, which means it is accumulative in nature. It also has many layers. And if you want to understand the layers, then you must have a time step. Astronomy is time. India was the prosperous place in the world. Why? Because of a sophisticated astronomy, because of sophisticated understanding of the monsoon, sophisticated development of agriculture. So all the basic ingredients that you need for civilization were here for thousands of years. In Surya Siddhanta, the latitude measurements of all our current nakshatra system goes back to 8000 BC. That is a great work of Dr. Anil Narayanan of ISRO. But why 8000 BC? Because that is when the inclination obliquity was the highest. And that time, Kashi, Varanasi acted exactly like what Ujjain did. And Thailand, there is actually evidence. European team found a panchang that is about 1600 years old. That is first created based on the Kashi as a starting point. And then within India, in Tamil Nadu, it is adjusted by 3 degrees because that place is 3-degree longitude difference from Kashi. Now that panchang is used in Thailand by the king of Thailand and whatnot by making appropriate correction. What do you call that?
Conversion of longitude into time.
Correct.
As we travel.
Correct.
In the eastern or western direction.
Right.
A recurring theme is clearly evident. In Indian astronomy, stars are named after seers. Madhav's mathematics flourished in a temple. Ramanujan's equations came from his Devi. It seems, for Indians, science was not contradictory to religion. For us, science was just a defined form of religion, and religion was nothing but refined science. How did India's knowledge survive while other ancient civilizations disappeared? This unique longevity baffles me. Understanding it holds the key to ensuring that today's civilizational knowledge survives too. My curiosity takes me to Chinmaya Foundation in Kerala, where I meet Gauri Mahulikar, a Vedanta researcher and former head of the Department of Sanskrit at Mumbai University.
विद्या रक्षिता संस्कृति सर्वदा. विद्या जो है फॉर एवर इट प्रोटेक्ट्स द कल्चर. प्रकृति से संस्कृति बनाना, दिस इज द टास्क फॉर ह्यूमन बीइंग. एंड हाउ ही कैन अचीव इट? फ्रॉम विद्या. और ये जो विद्याएं हैं, अष्टादश विद्या स्थानानि कहते हैं, दे आर ऑल इन संस्कृत लैंग्वेज. सो 4 वेदास, 6 वेदांgas, 4 upangas and 4 upavedas, it becomes 18. Ashtadasha vidyaha etaha. And therefore I say, vina sanskritam naiva sanskritihi. इंडिया को जानना है, इंडियन कल्चर जानना है, तो संस्कृत जाननी होगी.
Inspired by Gauri's profound insights, I proceed to catch a glimpse of ancient India. The place is Mattur, a village in Karnataka which continues to speak and practice Sanskrit as its official language even today. Protected from globalization, Mattur is a pristine agrahar, a scholarly village which was established 600 years ago by the great king Krishna Dev Rai.
आचार्य जी, यहाँ की क्या विशेषता है इस ग्राम की?
यहाँ वेद और शास्त्र पढ़ने के लिए बहुत अवकाश मिलता है. ये तो परंपरा से ही हमारे गांव में है. संस्कृत का अध्ययन और अध्यापन, वेद का अध्ययन और अध्यापन. यहाँ गांव में 6 आहिताग्नि अग्निहोत्री हैं और 40 यजुर्वेद का पंडित हैं. और तुंगा जी ही हमारा गांव का विशेष है, क्योंकि ये तो जीव नदी है.
Just a few hours from Mathur is the unmissable Sringeri, an ancient seat of learning founded by Adi Guru Shankaracharya more than a millennia ago. Sringeri continues to preserve and protect India's Sanskrit traditions.
Script development took a long time in our civilization because we are primarily an oral tradition. So when scribes came along, so people who are knowledgeable, they usually dictate and scribes take it down.
So this
is a palm leaf.
Palm leaf, and it's written with some kind of ink here.
Usually a brass tool, it's inscribed.
How wonderful.
You can see the inscription, but you can't read it. We apply a kind of a powdered soot on it so that it starts appearing. The average age of a palm leaf manuscript is about 500 years. Once the manuscript becomes old, when it becomes fragile, so another copy is made.
To ensure perfect transmission of knowledge across millennia seems like an impossible task. For perspective, today's advanced digital technology can become extinct if a solar flare hits Earth today. Papers and manuscripts are not safe from calamities. The only thing which would survive the last mile would be a living knowledge retained in the hearts and minds, a rigorous oral method to preserve knowledge without errors. The idea is profound, but then why only Sanskrit? What's so special about it that Sanskrit succeeded in protecting the Indian knowledge system for such a long time?
When nobody even thought of, the words could have a science, we have an entire system of Vyakarana, Panini's grammar, where he, very distinctly states which varna, which consonant emerges from which part of the mouth cavity. It is the only language in the world which is like, as you write, so you spell, and as you spell, so do you write. The phoneme and the morpheme hardly differ. Okay? But in English, PUT put and BUT but. Why it is not but? I mean, there are hundreds of such examples. So Sanskrit is the only language, perhaps, which is very, very pure in that manner.
If I recite a Vedic mantra today, for all this is how it was recited 5,000 years back. Why I'm saying this is the uniqueness of transmission.
And this transmission has happened by and large, through the Guru Shishya Parampara.
So basically the whole idea, as you rightly said, is moment you say oral, then obviously the medium of transmission is human beings. Therefore, there is this Guru who is mastered, and then there was a mechanism of creating a large number of, Sishyas. If you talk of this Stapatya, the architect who designs this temple, he will be a Guru, he will have a Sishya. A metalsmith who does some complex metal working will have a Guru, he will have a Sishya. So this is how we orchestrated the whole thing. It was not just about the Vedas. Every science, every engineering, every technology that we practiced, it was all through a system of Gurukula. A Guru could transmit it to 100 odd people. So the 100 odd people, out of that, maybe some 20, 30 odd will actually become a Guru. So now one can imagine how this knowledge is going to go. It will be a divergent cone. That was how we were actually propagating it and passing it from generation to generation without any loss.
This ecosystem of value-based transmission of knowledge is perhaps the most unique jewel of Indian knowledge systems. The Guru Shishya Parampara. For millennia, people from all over the world stormed to India to be a part of this parampara. Right from homely Gurukulas to mighty international universities, I sense the presence of an extremely nuanced system that focused on practical learning.
What is our ancient Indian education system as such? Acharyat padamadatte, padam shishyah svamedhaya, padam sabrahmacharibhyah, padam kalakramena cha. When the acharya, that is the teacher, comes to the class and teaches, he teaches you only 1/4 of the whole of knowledge. 1/4, Shishya Swamedhaya, his own self-study. The third pada is Sa Brahmacharibhyaha, from the fellow students. We call it peer learning nowadays. And the fourth is what we call today experiential learning. That is Kalakramena cha. Time has to pass by. You have to ripen with the time.
When you walk with the Guru, you talk with the Guru, you eat with the Guru, and play with the Guru. You learn without the Guru teaching you explicitly. That was a profound concept of Gurukul, the home of the Guru. No need for value education classes as today, when the entire system is value-oriented. This genius interweaving of Sanskriti, Sanskrit, and Guru Shishya Parampara is the reason behind India being the only continuous living civilization. I am beyond words. While I feel a serene sense of contentment, I am also concerned if the world is ready for such profound restructuring. I cannot help but wonder how India's knowledge systems are relevant to solving today's global challenges.
Why do you think, the exploration, of the Indian knowledge system is very necessary in the modern context?
See, the next 100 years is going to be a knowledge society. It's not about military power. It's all about who has the knowledge. And one of the important principles in strategy is what is called path dependence. The path that you walk is a function of the path that you have already walked. So for a society, for a culture, you need to know the path. The whole world is talking about sustainability. Now, if you look at the Sanskrit word dharma, the very meaning of dharma is that which can behold or sustain. But scriptures have lots of ideas on sustainable living, sustainable ways of maintaining large-scale systems, sustainability as an important concept, and so on.
हमारा चश्मा बदलना पड़ेगा. Our perspective, we are very biased. We take pride in learning foreign languages. All European languages also are derived from Sanskrit. Why can't we learn that? And another thing which is very, very special about our ancient Indian education system is they address the entire humanity as the children of immortality. Shrunuvantu Vishve Amritasya Putraha. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The entire world as one family. That is the lesson of ancient education system.
With time, instead of just consumption, we have to learn to give back, to return to the simplicity of life. That's what Indian knowledge systems have to offer us. The rapture of being human, the joy of constant learning, the pleasure of sharing. Coming times will test us, yet the ancients continue to watch quietly from the shadows, holding solutions to our problems. If only we are humble enough to look back with an open mind.
What a musical and picturesque journey into Indian knowledge system. This is a very, very important feast to our eyes. Friends, this is really very interesting to look at this feast when we look at such things. I tell you, thank you very much for your comments. Thank you very much, one and all, and for your reactions. See, Government of India really worked very hard to prepare this very incredible journey into this. And this is very, very enriching to all of us. Friends, now we will go to second phase of my discussion, where I'm going to discuss Vedic literature and its cultural impact. Let us try to have a look at overview of four Veda: Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharva Veda. Let us talk about the influence on rituals and traditions. This is what I would discuss in few more minutes. Let's discuss it together. There are four Vedas. The Vedas are most ancient and revered texts in Indian literature. They are forming the basis of Indian spiritual and philosophical thought. They are four, each serving a unique purpose and offering insights into various aspects of life and the universe. Rig Veda, the oldest of the Veda, Rig Veda, is a collection of 1028 hymns or ruchas dedicated to various deities such as Agni, Indra, and Soma. It is primarily concerned with cosmology, philosophy, and ruchas that seek to understand the nature of the cosmos and the divine. The rucha are composed in early Vedic Sanskrit and reflect a deep reverence for nature and the elements. Samveda, known as the Veda of melodies. The Samveda consists primarily of ruchas derived from the Rig Veda but set to musical notation. These ruchas were intended to be sung during rituals and sacrifices. The musical aspect of the Samveda highlights the importance of sound and melody in spiritual practices, which is a foundation to the rich tradition of Indian classical music. The Yajurveda is divided into two main sections, the white Yajurveda and the black Yajurveda. It consists of prose mantras used in ritualistic sacrifices. Unlike the Rig Veda and Samveda, the Yajurveda provides detailed instruction for performing these rituals, making it a practical guide for priests and conducting sacrifices, that is yagna. A collection of spells, charms, and incantations addressing everyday concerns such as health, protection, and prosperity. It is more diverse in conduct and content than the other Veda and include material related to medicine, sorcery, and daily rituals. The Atharva Veda reflects a more practical and accessible aspect of Vedic literature, focusing on the immediate needs and concerns of the people. The Veda have profoundly influenced Indian culture, shaping rituals, traditions, and societal norms that continue to this day. Vedic rituals, especially those described in Yajur Veda, have laid the foundation for Hindu rituals performed today. These include performing yagna to please the deities, seek blessings, and maintain cosmic order. The intricate details provided in Yajur Veda have ensured the continuity and consistency of these rituals over millennia. The Veda have also given rise to various cultural traditions and festivals. For instance, the Rig Veda, ruchas celebrating Indra's victory over Vritra, are reflected in the annual celebration of Diwali, which symbolizes the triumph of light over darkness. Similarly, the chanting of Vedic ruchas during weddings and naming ceremonies and other life cycle events showcase the enduring influence of Vedic traditions. The Veda, particularly the Rig Veda, outline a vision of society based on principles of dharma, that is duty, and artha, that is cosmic order. These texts emphasize the importance of maintaining social harmony and fulfilling one's duties towards family, community, and the divine. The concept of Varna, first mentioned in the Rig Veda, has played a significant role in structuring Indian society, though its interpretations and applications have evolved over time. The philosophical inquiry in the Veda have laid the groundwork for various schools of philosophy. Concepts such as ultimate reality and the individual soul, further elaborated in the Upanishads, have their roots in Vedic ruchas. These ideas have shaped not only religious beliefs but also ethical and moral frameworks within Indian culture. The Veda are not merely ancient texts but living documents that continue to shape India's spiritual, cultural, and social fabrics. These rituals, we can say, rituals and philosophies have influenced every aspect of life, making them integral part to understanding Indian heritage and cultural identity. Friends and dear professors, I would like to share another very interesting video here, which talks about Veda. It really describes Veda in a very beautiful way. Let us try to have a look at Veda. Veda, we can talk a lot about Veda, but here I would like to
today. If you want to
take
tap the
you
whole
to
of
the
India,
journey
create
of
a
Veda
fake
in few
investment
minutes.
app.
It's a really very interesting and picturesque presentation of a Veda.
Veda Bhumi, the land of knowledge, that is one of the names of India, and for a very good reason. If we turn the hidden pages of the history, long before the Islamic invasions and the European colonization, India has been one of the very few civilizations which has a very advanced education system of that times. I'm not saying this. If we turn back the pages of the history before 1000 AD, that's before Mughal invasions and the European colonization began, travelers from Europe, Persia to China used to travel to India to obtain the knowledge as part of this Vedic culture. If you read the books written by Megasthenes, Al-Biruni, or Hyun-Sang, you'll get to know how advanced Indian education system at that times was. The knowledge of ancient India. It is one of the most comprehensive and complex education systems in the world. In this short video, we try to compile how the ancient Indian education system looked like. The heritage of the ancient Indian education and value system as we know today has been largely preserved by the inscriptions on the temples, manuscripts, and verbally transmitted from a teacher to a student. These are the three main sources from which we have been preserving the Vedic education system till today. Now let's see what they are. For ease of understanding, we have put it this way. There are 6 broad categories of Indian scriptures which hold the entire knowledge system. They are Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Itihasam, Agamam, Siddhantam. And they cover a diverse set of fields of education like mathematics, physics, biology, philosophy, astronomy, health sciences, linguistics, and many other branches of science and technology besides the theological concepts.
Granny promise भूल गई. Soft idli, crispy dosa.
Granny special. Soft. Crispy. Fresh.
Promise is a promise.
ID का promise. India's #1 batter बनता है हर रोज fresh.
The Heat is On campaign, powered by the Global Center on Adaptation.
Starting with the first one, Shruti. Shruti is well known as the Vedas, and there are 4 of them. Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda, and Atharvana Veda. Rig means praise, a form of expressing the gratitude. It explains about the various hymns praising the elements of nature and cosmos. And the second one is Yajur Veda. Yajur means worship. It explains about different procedures of worship of the nature and cosmos. And the third one is Samaveda. Sama means song. It gives a music-driven canonical format to the other Vedas for ease of recitation. The fourth one is Atharvana Veda. Atharva means stable mind. It sets the rules for a steady state daily life activities that needs to be observed in a Vedic culture. All these 4 Vedas are not just like any other 4 ordinary books. You will not understand a word of it unless you are blessed with a guru who can explain to you what each of these mean. And they are highly interconnected with each other. Further down, if we look into any of these 4 Vedas, it has 4 fundamental blocks. Aranyaka, Brahmana, Samhita, Upanishad, supported by 6 external blocks. Siksha, Vyakarana, Chandas, Nirukta, Jyotisha, and Kalpa. We'll keep it very simple, not going into further details. The 4 internal blocks of Aranyaka, Brahmana, Samhita, and Upanishads, they describe the theosophical, philosophical, and physiological anatomy of the cosmos and the nature and the fundamentals of human existence. In simple words, it describes Brahman, which means the ultimate and the supreme power of the existence. In the 6 external blocks, Siksha, Vyakarana, Chandas, Nirukta, Jyotisha and Kalpa, these are called as Vedangas. They complement the knowledge framework of Vedas with different and intricate specializations each. As you see here, Siksha is study of phonetics, Vyakarana is study of grammar, Chandas is study of linguistic rhythm and prosody, Nirukta is study of etymology, Jyotisha is study of astronomy, and Kalpa is study of rituals. All these 6 are called as Vedangas. And that's how the 4 Vedas are supported by the 6 Vedangas. And that is not all. Each of the 4 Vedas have 4 Upavedas as an offspring. Ayurveda, the study of life sciences, ascribing to Rig Veda; Gandharva Veda, study of music, art and dance, ascribing to Sama Veda; Dhanurveda, study of archery and warfare, ascribing to Yajurveda; and Ardhashastra, study of business administration and political sciences, ascribing to Atharvana Veda. Now this is the complete picture of what we call today in simple words as Vedas. And one of our prime objectives of this channel, Project Shivoham, is to bring forward this entire knowledge system in a simple format that everybody can understand. We already did a couple of documentaries on Dhanurvedam, Ayurvedam, Sanskrit and a lot more. And you can find them on our channel.
Okay, class, scare me.
Don't want to.
Hello.
Sir, do you want instant?
And the next one is Smriti. Smriti is authored by the sages and saints who mastered Shruti, which is the Vedas, and brought in their experiences and revelations. It is much like a thesis that the sages on different branches of studies like theology, philosophy, science, etc. It completely subserves or ascribes to Shruti, which is the final authority. And there are 18 such Smritis written by different rishis. And they are Atri, Vishnu, Harita, Aushanasi, Angirasa, Yama, Apastambha, Samavarta, Katyayana, Brihaspati, Parashara, Vyasa, Shankha, Likita, Daksha, Gautama, Shatatapa and Vasishtha Smriti. And the next one is Puranam. In very simple words, Puranam is nothing but a historical document. Often Puranam is mistaken as a mythology, but the fact of the matter is it's a historical document that has a 10-dimensional feature. And the 10 are, the first one is Sarga, history of creation of cosmos. Second one is Visarga, history of creation of the worlds. Third, Vrupti, history of evolution of the life. Fourth, Raksha, history of sustenance of life. Fifth, Amtarani, history of the time scale and how the time used to be measured in the past. Sixth, Vamsa. Seventh, Vamshanusharita. Both explain about the history of the lineage and the history of the dynasties that ruled Bharat since times immemorial. Eighth, Samstha, history of the catastrophes, all the natural calamities that have occurred in the past. Ninth, Hetu, history of the prime causes of those catastrophes. And the last one is Apasarayaha, history of the Supreme Being or the different incarnations of God. And there are 18 such Puranas, all written by just one Rishi, Sri Vedavyasa. And the 18 are Markandeya Purana, Matsya Purana, Bhagavata, Bhavishya, Brahmanda, Brahma, Brahmavaivarta, Vishnu, Varaha, Vamana, Vayu, Agni, Narada, Padma, Linga, Garuda, Kurma and Skanda Puranas. The amount of knowledge in these Puranas is just incredible. For instance, Agni Puranam explains about different varieties of martial arts. We did a short documentary on Dhanurvedam, extracting details from Agni Puranam and Dhanurveda Samhita. You can check out on our channel. The next one in line is Itihasa. Itihasa, the word spells as Itihasa, which means this is how it happened. Of all the scriptures, Itihasas are the one which shaped up the ethos of India as we know today. And there are only two Itihasas, Sri Ramayanam and Mahabharatam. These two scriptures are of the highest order which defined, directed and drove the human values in India since thousands of years. And Bhagavad Gita, which is the epitome of all the sacred scriptures, is an integral part of the grand epic of Mahabharatam.
The Big Beautiful Bill is a frontal assault on renewable power. It's unlikely that we'll build another project in this country.
And the next one is Agamas. Agamas are treatises on theology, epistemology, and also describes the architectural principles of temple construction. Basically, they are the rule books of how a temple needs to be constructed and the rituals in the temple needs to be organized. All the magnificent grandeur of the Indian temples and the exquisite carvings that we have on the Indian temples. The source code of all that beauty is from Agamas. For instance, Shilpa Shastra, the branch of knowledge which deals with sculpting, is from Agamas. And there are 77 Shakti Agamas, 28 Shiva Agamas and 108 Vishnu Agamas. So wide and so deep. The last one we have Siddhantam. Siddhantam means principles, a set of principles in different fields of science and technology. These are the most interesting part of the scriptures. For instance, in astronomy itself, we have 18 Siddhantas, which talks about different details about planetary motions, geometrical principles, trigonometry, calculus, a lot more. In this category, we have a huge set of scriptures that are in the fields of science and technology. To name a few, Sushruta Samhita by Rishi Sushruta on surgery and medicine, Aryabhattiyam by Aryabhatta on astrophysics and astronomy, Ardhashastra by Chanakya on commerce and business administration, Panchasiddhanta by Varahamihira on treatise of astronomy, Rasendra Mangalam by Nagarjuna on the science of alchemy, and the list goes on and on. And that is a very brief history about the Vedas and the other scriptures of ancient Indian education system. For ease of understanding, we tried to condense a lot, but it is so wide, deep, and complex all at the same time. And the backbone for this entire education system is Sanskritam. And if we don't have the competence of Sanskritam, all this knowledge system is good for nothing. Let me give you one example and you will understand it. Here is a slokam from Aryabhattiya, written by Aryabhatta. Yes, the same man whom we celebrate that he invented zero. In this slokam, he gave two scenarios. The first scenario is two bodies moving in opposite directions, and the second scenario is two bodies moving in same direction. He says that time elapsed for R and B to pass through or otherwise is equal to the distance by sum of their speeds. And in the other scenario, it is distance by difference of the speeds. In simple words, he gave the equation of speed is equal to distance by time. This equation of speed is equal to distance by time is the foundation for kinematics, a branch of physics, which is the heart and soul of everything that moves in this world. This equation is the foundation in the engineering of be it a car or a space shuttle. This equation is a revolutionary discovery. But if we don't know how to read Sanskritam, all this is good for nothing. According to the documented history, Galileo Galilei in the year 1638, he published a book called Two New Sciences. In this book, he first gave the formula of speed is equal to distance by time. Now don't start judging Galileo. All his work is original, and if you read this book, you'll get to know. He did not get inspired from Aryabhatta. But the fact of the matter is, something that was discovered by Aryabhatta in 510 CE had to be rediscovered by Galileo in the year 1638. In these 1000 years, the speed is equal to distance by time equation, which is written in Sanskritam, is locked up in Aryabhattiya. 1000 years. Imagine what could have been the impact if this was known earlier to the whole world. All we know about Aryabhatta is he invented zero, but he has left us a wealth of information. Well, how many such equations and other scientific concepts are hidden in the Indian scriptures, which are written in Sanskritam, waiting to be decoded? Well, I'm not saying that all the great things in this world were invented or discovered by Indians, but all the great things that were done by Indians are not known to the world. And that's why we started Project Shivoham, to bring forward all these kinds of stories.
So see, again, very interesting discussion on this Veda. Now we will try to have a look at Upanishad. Because after Veda, something very important is Upanishad. So I'll try to discuss philosophical foundations, key concepts, contributions to Indian philosophy and worldview. These are the things we'll try to understand and we'll try to discuss. The Upanishad, also known as Vedanta, are a collection of philosophical texts and explore the fundamental questions of existence, reality, and the nature of the self. Composed between 800 before Christ and 500 before Christ, the Upanishads are considered the culmination of Vedic thought, offering profound insights that have shaped Indian philosophy. The concept of Brahma is central to the Upanishad. Brahma is described as the ultimate unchanging reality, the source of all that exists. It is infinite, eternal, and beyond human comprehension. The Chandogya Upanishad states, Sarvam Khalidam Brahmam, all that is indeed Brahma. Emphasizing the unity of all existence. Atma refers to individual soul or self. The Upanishad teach that Atma is identical to Brahma, selected in the Mahakavya. Tata Tattvamasi. From Chandogya Upanishad, this identification of the self with universal consciousness forms the basis of Advaita philosophy. Maya is the illusion or ignorance that veils the nature of reality, leading individuals to perceive the knowledge and the world as separate and distinct. The concept of Maya explains apparent multiplicity in the world and the challenges in realizing the unity of Atma and Brahma. The law of karma, which states that every action has consequences, in another key concept in Upanishad. The Upanishads teach that one's action determines one's future and future experiences, including rebirths. The principle underscores the moral and ethical dimensions of human life. Moksha is the liberation from the cycle of birth and rebirth. It is achieved through self-realization and the recognition of the unity of Atma and Brahma. The Upanishads describe moksha as a state of eternal bliss and freedom from suffering. The philosophical concepts articulated in Upanishad have had a profound impact on Indian thought and have influenced the various aspects of culture, religion, and spirituality. The Upanishad have given rise to several schools of Indian philosophy, collectively known as the Darshan. The Advaita Vedanta school, founded by Sri Adi Shankaracharya, is directly based on Upanishadic teachings, advocating non-dualism and the identity of Atma and Brahma. Our schools, such as Vishishta Dvaita and Dvaita, also draw heavily upon Upanishadic ideas, while offering different interpretations of relationship between the self and the divine. The emphasis on meditation, self-inquiry, and the pursuit of knowledge in the Upanishads has shaped various spiritual practices. The practice of yoga, particularly Raj Yoga and Gnana Yoga, finds its philosophical foundations in Upanishadic teachings. The practices aim to quiet the mind, transcend the ego, and realize the true nature of the self. The concept of karma and dharma, articulated in Upanishad, have profoundly influenced Indian ethical and moral thoughts. The Bhagavad Gita, which synthesizes Upanishadic philosophy, emphasizes the importance of performing one's duties without attachment to the results, a principle that guides ethical conduct. Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. The philosophical ideas of Upanishads have entered Indian culture, influencing literature, art, and music. Works like Ramayana and Mahabharata, these epic narratives, also incorporate Upanishadic themes such as quest for self-knowledge. Works like Ramayana and Mahabharata epic narratives also incorporate Upanishadic themes such as quest for self-knowledge and importance of righteous action. Classical Indian music and dance forms often draw on Upanishadic themes to explore and express spiritual truths. The Upanishads have also had a significant impact beyond India. Western philosophers and writers such as Arthur Schaffner, Aldous Huxley, and Ralph Waldo Emerson have drawn inspiration from Upanishadic thought. Schaffner refers to the Upanishads as the most profitable and elevating reading which is possible in the world, highlighting their universal appeal and profound philosophical insights. The Upanishads represent the zenith of Vedic thought, offering profound philosophical insights that have shaped Indian philosophy, religion, and culture. Their teachings on the nature of reality, the self, and ultimate truth continue to inspire and guide individuals in their spiritual and philosophical pursuits. Beta, itu saya પછી એમાં નીચે નામ લખવું પડે મમ્મીનું નામ અને તું ઘરે જઈને લિંક્સ ચેક કર લે અત્યાર સુધી હું પછી મને પતે એટલે વાત કરી. Now we will talk about Indian ancient sciences and their cultural relevance. Ancient India made significant contributions to various scientific fields, including astronomy, mathematics, and medicine. These achievements not only advanced the scientific knowledge, but also had a profound impact on cultural practices and daily life. Ancient Indian astronomers made remarkable strides in transcending celestial phenomena. Aryabhatta, one of the most renowned astronomers, wrote the Aryabhatiya in 499 CE. This work introduced the concept of Earth's rotation on its axis, the calculation of the solar year's length, and the heliocentric model of the solar system. Aryabhata's precise calculation of the positions and motions of celestial bodies had a profound influence on both Indian and Islamic astronomy. Ancient Indian mathematicians developed fundamental concepts that have had a lasting impact on the field. The concept of zero, the decimal system, and the significant advancements in algebra and trigonometry originated in India. For example, and for instance, the mathematician Brahmagupta, 598 to 668 CE, wrought Brahma Stupa Siddhanta, which introduced the rule of arithmetic operations involving zero and negative numbers. The work Bhaskara II, particularly his treatise Siddhanta Siromani, made significant contributions to calculus, number theory, and algebra. Ancient Indian medicine known as Ayurveda is one of the oldest medical systems in the world. The foundational texts of Ayurveda include Charak Samhita and Sushrut Samhita. Charak Samhita, attributed to Rishi Charak, focuses on internal medicine and provide detailed description of various diseases, treatments, and principles of Ayurveda. The Sushrut Samhita, introduced we can say the Sushrut Samhita, attributed to Rishi Sushruta, is renowned for his extensive coverage of surgical techniques, including cataract surgery, plastic surgery, and the use of medicinal herbs. The scientific achievements of ancient India have profoundly influenced the cultural practices and daily life, reflecting a deep integration of science and tradition, that is parampara. The precise astronomical calculations of ancient Indian astronomers are reflected in the timing of various rituals and festivals. For instance, the Hindu festival of Diwali is celebrated based on lunar cycles, while Makar Sankranti marks the transition of sun into zodiac sign of Capricorn, signifying the arrival of longer days. The mathematical concepts developed in ancient India have practical applications in various fields. The construction of temples and architecture marvel, such as Brihadeshwara Temple in Tamil Nadu, demonstrates the application of advanced geometry and engineering principles. The Sulabh Sutra, ancient text on geometry, provides guidelines for constructing altar and other religious structure with precise measurements. Ayurveda's holistic approach to health and wellness has influenced Indian dietary habits, life cycle practices, and healthcare. The use of natural herbs, yoga, and meditation as prescribed in Ayurvedic texts continue to be a significant part of Indian daily life. For example, the practice of consuming turmeric milk, that is haldi doodh, for its inflammatory, anti-inflammatory properties, and performing yoga for physical and mental well-being are deeply rooted in Ayurvedic principles. The integration of scientific knowledge into cultural practices has ensured the continuity and resilience of these traditions. The blending of astronomy with religious rituals, the applications of mathematics in art and architecture, and the use of Ayurveda in daily life have created a rich tapestry of cultural practices that have endured through the ages. Ancient Indian scientific texts have also shaped traditional education system. The study of subjects such as mathematics, astronomy, and medicine was an integral part of curriculum in ancient Indian universities like Nalanda and Takshashila. This holistic approach to education, which emphasized both scientific and philosophical knowledge, has influenced the modern educational practices in India. The scientific achievements of ancient India are not isolated historical milestones, but integral components of broader cultural and intellectual heritage. By advancing knowledge in astronomy, mathematics, and medicine, ancient Indian scientists have significantly influenced cultural practices, daily life, and educational traditions, demonstrating the profound interplay between science and culture in Indian society. Friends, Ayurveda. I'll take just 1 or 2 minutes. Ayurveda, meaning science of life, is one of the oldest holistic healing systems in the world. Originated in India over 3,000 years ago. It is based on the belief that health and wellness depends on delicate balance between mind, body, and spirit. The principles and practices of Ayurveda are documented in ancient texts such as Charaka Samhita, Sushrut Samhita, and Ashtanga Hridaya. center of Ayurvedic philosophy is concept of dosha, which are the three fundamental bodily humors that govern physiological and psychological functions. The three dosha are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Each individual has a unique combination of this dosha, which determine their constitution, that is Prakriti, and health tendencies. Ayurvedic diagnosis involve assessing the balance of dosha through various methods, including diagnosis of Nadi Pariksha, observation, patient history. Treatment aims to restore balance through a combination of dietary changes, herbal remedies, lifestyle modifications, and therapeutic procedures. Panchakarma, a series of detoxifying treatment, is one of the well-known Ayurvedic practices designed to cleanse the body of the toxins. Ayurveda places significant emphasis on diet and nutrition, advocating for food as medicine. It prescribes dietary guidelines based on an individual's dosha, seasonal changes, and the principles of sattvic food. For example, individuals with dominant Vata dosha are advised to consume warm, moist, and groundling food, while those with Pitta constitution are recommended to eat cooling and hydrating foods. Ayurvedic practitioners use vast array of herbs and medicinal plants to treat various ailments. Commonly used as herbs, including ashwagandha for stress and vitality, turmeric for its anti-inflammatory properties, and triphala as a blend of three fruits for digestive health. So this is something which is very much evident in Indian knowledge system. It's the legacy of thousands of years. It's the legacy of India. It is Indian knowledge system through which we can understand various ideas related to Indian knowledge system. Friends, Indian knowledge system is one of the oldest systems which is living and which has roots in many years ago. So with this, I would like to conclude my session. I would like to say that we should know and we should understand the legacy. There are times when, I would like to tell you friends, that there are times when many civilizations died, but Indian civilization is one of the living civilization, and it is due to our philosophical strong foundations. Thank you one and all. Thank you very much. I am thankful to all those who have really commented with so much encouraging word that the session is very informative. Okay, we can get any of where all details information of this. Certainly, I'll try to share the information. Thank you very much for your very motivating words. Awesome session, good session like this. Thank you very much. I would like to thank the organizers and the director of MMTTC of SGBAU University. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful and insightful session. If you could permit, we will take some couple of questions, or one or two questions.
Certainly.
Yeah. Yes, Dr. Chatterjee, ma'am, please.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir. Sir, it is really a very informative session, and I am also very surprised to hear many things from you. And it is really an informative one. But sir, it is possible that getting these resources from anywhere, because it is very composed resources you are giving. And really, I am very happy to hear all those sort of things. I know little bit of that, but you are giving a composite picture of that.
Certainly, ma'am. I'll share with the advisors and they will share it with you.
Yes, it is really a very informative and very interesting piece of session with you. And I myself feel very much energetic and enriched by your speaking, and you are giving so much emphasis, 18 Puranas, everything you are telling. I am listening from a long time. In fact, I have not left your video session in the road also. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Interesting video you have. So I really, it is very interesting and informative one. Thank you very much, sir, to be with us. And if it is possible, please share the resources with us.
Certainly, ma'am. I'll share that. Certainly, I'll share that. Yes,
okay. Thank
you very much for your kind and motivating words.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Within a couple of time or day after by tomorrow, I will share some link that the IKS division has some material developed as some material with regards to integration of this IKS in our syllabi or the curricula.
Yes.
And there is some dedicated website and some AI-based archives are also available. So by tomorrow morning, I will share the details because we have that. And if there are no questions, then we can conclude.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sir, can we conclude, sir? Professor Joshi,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir. It's a pleasure with you. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. On behalf of Mission Teacher Training Center, Sant Gadge Baba, Amravati University, and Anuradha College of Engineering and Technology, and on behalf of all participants, I extend my sincere thanks to Professor Joshi, sir, for such a wonderful, wonderful and insightful session towards the Indian knowledge system. From the origin of our Indian knowledge, and in the present scenario, sir has connected the entire world in a single session. So we are luckily fortunate to get such kind of informative and deeply informative session on this IKS, sir. We are luckily thankful to you, sir, and really your session was really inspiring for us. And with this, I once again extend my sincere thanks to you. I also extend the sincere thanks to all the participants for their patience listening and active engagement during the session. And with the kind consent of Professor Joshi, sir, I would like to declare that this session will be over here. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. We'll meet tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.